Good morning. Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. And that's what we're doing, running the life race the best we can to serve the Lord and drink our coffee and talk to y'all. And I'm well, and I'm so thankful. Thank you for your prayers. We're doing good. James went to Sellersburg to work, and I'm sitting here in my little studio with my kitty cat and this TV behind me with this beautiful fall scene. And I got my coffee, so I'm happy. Well, I'm treating my feet. I've already been to the Walmart, got kitty litter and all that kind of stuff, and I've already had excitement this morning that I did not care for. I got to tell you about it. I have to tell y'all everything, but I'm doing good. So anyway, so I was still a little tired this morning, and James said when he got up he was feeling good too, but I was feeling just a little bit under the weather, so I decided to take me a couple of Advil, and I had already put my hearing aids on, so they're turned on right now. But I've got my mic on and everything. Let me turn it off. So I said, "Honey, I'm going to lay down again a little while, uh, for half an hour or so." And he says, "It's okay if we run late. That's no problem. So go ahead and get you a half an hour nap." I take half hour naps usually. So I said, "Okay." So I had my hearing aids on. So what I did was I just took them off, and they look like this. There's two of them. See that? See that? They're just real easy. And then you can put it back on. I'm going to take it off for right now. There's no kitty cats around. So I took them off and I went back to the bedroom. And so I just took my two hearing aids and I just put them on the dresser to take my nap. Well, I didn't shut the door tight, and here comes those two kitty cats. I'm about to lose my phone. So the two kitty cats come in there to jump in the bed with me. And I just try to turn away from them because they want to get real close. So I turned over and I was trying to take a nap, and I rested a while, and my Advil kicked in, and I was feeling more ambitious because Advil helps me. So there went my picture. Well, shucks, let's see if I can change that. I think we can. There it is. Anyhow, so I I just took my hearing aids and I laid them right on the dresser and went on back to bed, and the cats joined me. So when I got up to get my hearing aids, they weren't there on the dresser. They were gone. Where did they go? Well, I looked on the floor and there was one hearing aid. So I picked it up and I said, "Well, here's one of them. Where's the other one?" I looked under the dresser. I looked everywhere. So I went to the living room, and James was watching TV, the news or something. And I said, "Honey, you got to help me." I said, "The cats knocked my hearing aids off the dresser where I laid them, and one of them is missing, and I can't find it. And I've got a thing, and I have raked underneath the dresser. It's a big dresser. You can't hardly move it with a big mirror and everything on it and drawers." I said, "I can't move it." So he got down on his hands and knees with a flashlight and was looking underneath, and he couldn't see it. We looked under the bed. We looked everywhere. So I said, "Well, this is a long story. But I said, I'll get my phone. You can find out where things are with your phone when you lose a hearing aid." And these things cost, we didn't have to pay that for them, but they're worth about $1,000 each. James only had to pay $600 for both of them because my granddaughter works for Hearing Life where we got them. They were $7,000 is what they really cost. So they're very expensive. I lost one time. And they did replace it for the price of $200 because Sarah Beth works for Hearing Life. So I got it back. But I never did find that one I lost that time. But I have two now, and things going good. But here we are searching. So I said, "James, come in here and help me hunt." So he got down on his hands and knees. I said, "I tell you what, let's take maybe she carried it into the bed of the covers. So I said, let's take them off and shake them, see if it's in the floor, if it'll go. So we was busy taking them off, and I went around the side of the bed, and those two little old kittens had them something that they had caught, and they was batting it back and forth. And I said, y'all get out of here. What are you doing? Cut that out. And I just kind of swatted at them, and they both run off. I got my little flashlight, and guess what it was? They had my other hearing aid right there beside the bed. They had a new play party. There was my hearing aid. I said, thank you, Jesus. There's my hearing aid. So I picked it up. I said, we could have hunted for that thing forever. But I just smacked them and told them to get away. They just had them a new play party. So it's back. Everything's okay. There's always something going on when you got cats. So anyhow, so I went and put my hearing aids in a safe place, and I went and laid down again to take another little rest. And here comes Big Tom, because he didn't go outside. So he's getting in bed with me. Now, he never bothers anybody. So he just laid right in the middle there. I don't want him to stay in the bedroom while we're gone, though, because he might pee in there or something, pee on the covers. Cats sometimes do stuff that is not called for. My McDonald's coffee is hitting the spot this morning. So anyway, I said, Big Tom's still in the bed and I can't get him out, honey. Well, James shut the door. I said, we're not going to shut that door so I went back and I opened the door because he is so big. He won't mind if you say, get out of that bed or swat at him. He just kind of grins at you. It don't make him no difference. He's going to do what he's going to do. He thinks he runs the household. He really does. So anyway, I said, he's not coming out. So I left the door open, sleeping in my bed. We're supposed to change the sheet today anyway. So I have to tell James ahead of time. Time to change the sheet again, darling, because it takes two of us to change that sheet on that old king size bed. But I love that king size bed. I really like it. Gives you room. And it's that kind that you can raise up, because I have reflux, and mine's raised up, and that James raises his up some because of the COPD. Helps him breathe better. So anyway, guess what? My granddaughter Melissa called me up and she says, Mama, where are you? I said, well, I'm at Walmart checking out. I was getting cat food and I don't know what all. And she says, well, I'm in town. I wanted to stop by and see you a while. Where will you be? So she came by and we had a visit. She got engaged. She showed me her ring. And I said, who's paying for all this, honey? They're going to have a big wedding. She says, well, I gave him my list of guests. Excuse me, I'm burping. That I'm going to have, and that come to about 10 or 12. And he gave me his list, and it was like 50. She says, we can't have a, a we need a bigger place. If we're going to have a wedding. So they talked to Kim and Bruce is a member at the American Legion at Milltown, I think, or someplace out in the country. So they're going to have the wedding, the reception, and she showed me her cake that she's going to have, because they ordered their cake. It ran like $125. And then he got a groom's cake, and she showed me a picture of that. And you know what? It's got a fish in the middle of it. And he says he's going to have that. He wanted the wedding cake to be like that. And she said, no, we won't do that. So she's got the regular toured, 3 tiers or whatever. That'll feed 150. Well, remember when I got married, did I tell y'all James gave me $200 to help with the wedding? And $200. And, I'm independent and he's independent. So we kind of took care of stuff ourselves. So I bought me a dress and I got it at the Salvation Army and it was lovely. And so anyway, Melissa went to J.C. Penney and got her a dress, and she said it is beautiful, but it's not white or anything. It's just a beautiful dress, she said, and her mother helped her pick it out. But so he gave me $200, so I called about getting a wedding cake, And they said, well, like what you want will be $150. And that's been 15 years ago, almost 16 now when we got married. And I said, well, forget that. So what I ended up doing was buying cakes at the Walmart that was on special for $6, $7, half price, put them in my freezer. And then when we had the wedding, we had all different kinds of cakes, and I had different kinds of ice creams. So you could have ice cream cake, any kind you wanted. And my couple of girlfriends helped me do a ham and a turkey. And we bought potato salad and stuff. And we just fed everybody. And we had about 60 people at our wedding. It was a nice wedding. And James owned this great big building out in Greenville that used to be the Pony Express stop. It's so old. It's a two-story building with about 6,500 square feet in all, upstairs and downstairs. Well, he did the wedding upstairs and he decorated it. We got married in December, so he put up Christmas lights and all kind. It was beautiful. We just decorated our own and did our own thing, and it was and had about 60 people. And my girlfriends helped me. So we had the wedding, and we had Otis Berry. You can look him up on the internet. He is an Elvis impersonator, and he also pastors a little church down in the country. And he was our minister, and he sang us a song. And Andy, 967, stood up with us as our best man, James's best man. And we just had a simple little wedding, but it was lovely. And we enjoyed it. And he said, I do. I thought, we got married. So Elvis Berry he is so famous that he was featured at the state fair for several years to furnish the music at the state fair. Such a good Elvis impersonator. And he could look just like him. He had an outfit he could wear. Otis Berry. I did have his picture. So anyhow, he signed the papers and we're married. And I tell you what, we didn't have a honeymoon. I didn't want to go anywhere. James works all the time, and I was a happy woman. We took some weekend trips, which was kind of nice. And we went to some festivals, bluegrass festivals. I had a motor home, and I got it back from my son. I had given it to him. And so I used my motorhome before we got married, because I would take my motorhome and James would take his van, and we'd go to bluegrass festivals, and I had a good place to sleep. And he had his van and he slept in his van. So we just had a good courtship doing that, going to bluegrass festivals. Well, Melissa came by, showed me her ring, told me how they're getting married and how he proposed and how she said yes. She said, Mama, I didn't think I would ever marry again. She said, because she's been married twice, and the first marriage with two children, and her daughter, Leandra, is going in the Navy. And she's really excited about it, so I am too. I tell you what, Leandra is a real hard-headed young woman. When she makes her mind up to do something, she's going to do it come hell or high water. And when she told everybody she was going in the Navy, her daddy don't want her to go in the Navy. He wants her to go to college. But she said she can go in the Navy and she can get college free. You don't have to pay for it. So he's fighting it, but he don't get anywhere with her. When she makes her mind up, she's going to do it. I'm a lot like that. She reminds me of myself, because I was offered by an aunt and uncle when I was 15 to move to Chicago with them, and they would send me to business school, and I could amount to something. I told them, nah, I wanted to stick around home. And so I did exactly what I wanted to do. I stayed home, and then I got married at 16. That was exactly what I wanted to do, and I just did it. And Leandra's doing what she's doing. And Kim said, or I mean, her mama said, Melissa said that she's already doing push-ups and getting ready for training, because she really won't go into full training, I don't think, until February. And before that, you go for 3 weeks for some kind of testing and stuff to see if you can really make it or not. So who knows what's going to really happen? We'll find out. That's for sure. So I'm glad to be back feeling right and ready to do some things and enjoy life. And thank you, Jesus, for all your many blessings that I'm feeling back to normal. My voice has come back now pretty well. Not quite, but pretty well. And I thank y'all for your prayers. And I think God has touched me. And I still like to have a nap now and then. And I think I'll take a morning nap this morning. Them cats didn't really let me get a nap like I wanted. But sometimes I take a morning nap and then I do other things. And I got a back seat full of cat stuff to take to James's house. So I got to do that. My nose is itching. That feels so much better. So I'll talk to you later and have a blessed day and walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. It's good to see y'all. Love you. Bye bye.